While champions of Brexit regarded the prospect of deregulation after the UK left the European Union as a big selling point for the project, the chances of big cuts in red tape being made anytime soon seem increasingly remote. Former Chancellor Sajid Javid underlined the importance of the regulatory issue when he proposed to hold a red tape challenge that would involve inviting firms to submit proposals for areas in which cuts were most needed. Whether this will happen is unclear following Mr Javid's abrupt departure from the Treasury after Boris Johnson's move to curb freedom of thought in the department. Sajid Javid resigns as Chancellor after refusing to sack all his special advisers. Some may believe Mr Javid's idea reflects a genuine willingness to listen on the part of the government. Others could worry that the move suggests the government doesn't have much idea about which regulations really are causing problems. A senior member of the cabinet, Michael Gove, recently made clear that Brexit is likely to result in a significant increase in red tape unless the government accepts a trade deal with the EU that comes with significant limits on the UK's ability to set its own rules. If the free movement of goods ends, border controls and customs checks will have to be introduced. Proposals for a new points-based immigration system announced on Tuesday could lead to a huge increase in administration for businesses. There were already good reasons for businesses to treat promises of meaningful reform on the regulatory front with great skepticism in view of how many bonfires of red tape have been promised in recent decades. Tory grandee Lord Heseltine announced plans for one in 1992, 5 years before Tony Blair's new Labour government launched a better regulation task force. The Conservative government led by David Cameron promised in May 2015 to cut a further £10 billion of red tape over the life of the new Parliament 2 years after the preceding coalition administration's Vince Cable introduced the Enterprise and Regulatory Reform Act. David Cameron called for bonfire of EU red tape, new papers reveal. But research completed subsequently showed the regulatory burden actually increased. In January 2019, the Federation of Small Businesses, FSB, said the cost of government policy to the average small firm had surged by £60,000 in 6 years. The study highlighted the impact of UK government measures that have led to a big increase in the cost and complexity involved with employing people, such as the introduction of the national living wage and pensions auto-enrolment. In the latest official small business survey published in December, the Scottish Government reported, in line with the prior year and the UK as a whole, the two most commonly reported obstacles by SME employers in Scotland. For more on this story, visit the news article link.